and welcome back to Nyla's Nibbles. Today I'm going to be making a 3-course meal with tempura prawns, a meat platter, and strawberries and meringue and cream. So come with me while I show you all my secrets to make sure that you impress your significant other. Nothing turns me on more than food, especially when it's done right. And that's one thing I do, is food right. So today I'm making one of my absolute favorites, tempura prawns, seasoned with coriander, some spice, and some garlic. If you want to see some spice from me, you know where to go. So first I'm going to get the prawns and dip them in the batter. I got nice big juicy prawns because I like nice big juicy things. Popping that in, I'm just going to stir it around. I love making things homemade, and a batter is actually really simple to do, but really effective and really tasty. So for my batter mix, I use actual batter mix, but I always like to add extras. So I added a coriander and garlic spice and a little bit of baking powder. That's just to fluff it right up. So these prawns are going to be yummy. So this is definitely one of my favorite, in fact, not one of my favorite, this is my ultimate date night food. That actually reminds me of one time I had a not so pleasant date, I must say. So it was actually on Valentine's Day. I decided to go out with this guy. Anyway, we go to the bar, having a few drinks with him. I'm just not feeling it at all. So I know that my girls are out in town having a drink. So I think to myself, oh, I'm gonna go meet them instead. So I go to the toilet thinking I'm all clever. Let me message the girls, send the text message basically insulting this guy saying, he's not for me, not interested, where are you lot? To him. And I'm there in the toilet like, no! And then having to walk back out to him when he's blatantly seen this text message. Oh my God, it was the worst thing ever. So I went back, sat down and was like, I'm going to meet my friends. Would you like to come? Actually invited him along because I felt so bad that I'd sent him this text message, basically slated him that he wasn't a fun date. And he ended up coming and meeting my friends, but then we ditched him after about half an hour and had a really good Galentine's day. So as you can see, I've just popped these tempura prawns in and they cook pretty fast. They smell really, really good. And you can always tell when they're cooked when you start to see like the pinky colour come through. You do have to flip them on both sides though. They're like me, they like to be flipped on both sides. And I'd say those about another minute and they'll be done. Now, I would always recommend whenever you take something out from frying it, you need to put it on some nice thick kitchen roll just to take all the oil off, because we don't want greasy food, do we? Not when it's date night. Now, the baking powder that I added really helps fluff up the batter, which makes them look even nicer, bigger and juicier. I always think Rocket is a really nice accompaniment for any starter. And it just actually makes things look more fancy. Now, my starters are usually quite big because I love food. So most people would probably put 3. But, you know, if I'm feeding my man, he has to have lots of food. So 5 it is. Nice squeeze of lemon juice. And the thing that makes this really pop, and there we have tempura prawns with sweet chili sauce and Rocket. We're on to my favourite part of the meal, the main course. Now, I've actually taken some inspiration from America for this, because in America, I love the steak houses. They do brilliant ribs. Everything looks so nice and meaty. And we all know I'm a big, big fan of meat. So the American-inspired meat platter is gonna have barbecue ribs, steak, and pork belly bites. I'm also gonna do it with a side of crispy potatoes and a nice slaw. So yeah, this is definitely gonna get the juices flowing. Barbecue ribs. And I know this is an American-inspired barbecue sauce because you lot seem to do the best barbecue sauce, so I'm using it. Ribs go in, get them nice and saucy, a little bit like the person who's making them. There we go. Add a little bit of garlic powder. And can't forget some paprika. And a little bit of honey, because it's sweet like me. Oh, it drizzles out. And once again, we need to rub all this in, this big hunk of meat. Make sure it's covered everywhere. And you're good to go. So I'm on to the next piece of meat, a nice chunky thick cut of steak. You don't need to do much to steak. Season it up nicely. How do you like your steak done? I know I'm a big fan of medium rare. Not well done, although I like to be well done in other things, but not my steaks. Now I always like to heat the oil so it's nice and hot. You know, if you want to see something hot, you know where to go, don't you? And when you put it in, you should hear that sizzle. Ah, that sound is music to my ears. So for me, potatoes, I absolutely love them. And not to be stereotypical, because I am part Irish, but yes, I love spuds. And I think they are a great company, especially with something nice and meaty. These are super simple, and all I'm gonna do is thinly slice them and pop them in the frying pan. And they're gonna get really, really nice and crispy. So this is my mayo-less slaw. Now, the reason why I'm doing it without mayo is because I like to add jalapenos into it, and it just gives it like a light, fresh flavor, which is super yummy. A little bit of cabbage. Can't forget the carrot. It's good for your sight. I want your eyes in perfect condition so they look at me all the time. A little bit of onion. Now I know people say, oh, no onion on date night, but you know, who cares? Coriander just makes everything taste better. And of course it wouldn't be my menu if there wasn't spice. Now you just mix all of that up, and there you have a mayo-less slaw. And then add a little bit of lime. Good to go. So here we have it, my ultimate meat feast. We've got my barbecue ribs, steak, pork belly, crispy potatoes, corn, slaw, and a yummy sauce. You cannot tell me that this wouldn't get you laid. So take my advice, guys, make this and get laid. So now I'm going on to my dessert. I know I said I'm always spicy, but sometimes I can be really sweet. So we're gonna have whipped cream, meringues, and strawberries. Nice and light for after this heavy, heavy meaty dish. So a nice simple dessert, only 3 ingredients: cream, because everybody loves cream, berries, and nice light fluffy meringues. So here we have it, what Nyla made to get laid. Tempura prawns, a meat platter, strawberries, meringue, and whipped cream. Delicious. Now that this is all made, I think it's time to, I'll leave that to your imagination. In fact, you know where to click if you want to see.